Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah be upon all the light beings in the building now, all the light beings in the building that might catch the recording later, inshallah, wherever it may be in the cosmos between here to Allah. Alhamdulillah. Go ahead and kick off. First things first, if nobody has that book or this PDF, definitely get that book. Especially if you've taken Bayat. If you haven't taken Bayat, then there's a part in the back where you just might want to leave it alone. But there are some serious spiritual practices and prayers formulated from Sheikh Ahmed Bamba in this particular book. I don't know who that guy is. Kiyama Abdullah Salihu Sufi. Sounds like a Sheikh Sufi type of character, maybe, inshallah. But from beginning to end, the book itself is a full practice. It's more than that, but recite it once a day. I think that's about all I can HR appropriately say about it without going a little bit too deep, inshallah. But to begin, there'll be a reason why everything kicks off like it does, what we do next, and what's explained is done the way it is. Because the very first line of the Qasa'id that we recite will line up exactly with nine bullet points that we'll go throughout the class. And mashallah, each of those 9 bullet points will also, they may or may not be able to be turned into and formulated into a practice so that you'll have 9 different Salatul Nabi, prayers on the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, all from one practice. Because Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, so of course we have to go from 1 to 9, right? But before we begin, of course, we gotta strike it up with one of the most beloved qasides to anybody in the Muridiyah and the Bifal, and honestly anybody worldwide if they were to hear it recited by the brothers across seas. But place and Didi once a day. You can't recite it. Place and Didi once a day. If you can't read Arabic, get this book here, and it has it transliterated into English. So if you don't understand the Arabic letters, if you read the English way that the side is spelled, it'll sound as if you're pronouncing as close as you have the ability to what it would sound like in Arabic. So without further ado, we أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد يا الله بالمصطفى سنديد يا الله وبخليلك إبراهيم يا الله يا الله بالمصطفى سنديد يا الله وبخليلك إبراهيم يا الله يا الله بالمصطفى سنديد يا الله وبخليلك إبراهيم يا الله وبكلمك موسى صالح قادر وبشهيد وبإسماعيل يا الله وبسليمان النوح يونس الياسع وزكريا يحيى هود يا الله هارون يوسف إلياس وآدم داود وزد كفلي سلوت يا الله ويوسف وإبشاق وغيرهم من أنبياء ورسل لك يا الله وبالملائكة ثورا ثم صوفاتهم جبريل ثم بميكائيل يا الله وبصاحب النفخ إسرافيل كابد أرواح الكالكليك إسرائيل يا الله وبصحابة ثم أولياء معا وعاملين من الأخبار يا الله وبصديق وبالفاروق ثم بذي نورين ثم أبي سبتين يا الله بمالك زل معذا يا شفيع أبي حنيفة أحمى مكدود يا الله بالله والكلم محفوظ ثم بياشك الذي وبالكرسي يا الله وبالقرآن وبالتوراة وبقاصد أسرين توبة بما داود جاء به وأوره يا الله بلك صلاة وتسليم عليه له وآله وصحبه وأزواجه الله وأسبل لنا علينا ربي عافية وأبنانا كستا في الدارين يا الله وافتح لنا كل باب كنت فاتحه لصالحين من الخيرات يا الله واسلك بنا نجا رشد وافقنا زلنا وردنا الجنا والشيطان يا الله وكاملا كل من له ونقصده وهب لنا كل من نختار يا الله وردنا كل حساب وظهرا وياسرا كل بتسير يا الله وتولى أمرنا ساهلنا بدنا وهب لنا رشد وتوفيق يا الله ودامرا كل عبد دتور بنا وقوبنا وليس يا الله يا الله ودامرا كل عبد ينتور بنا كلا وسلنا يا الله يا الله وكن لنا عاصما من كل مالكة وناجنينا من البدار يا الله وآفتنا ختم غوسة مهن زلالة ستات والفاخر يا الله إهانة كيلة ماثلة غلب وفاقة ناحة وجوه الله وفتنة وغرب ورهق ماغرة وبرك مسارك والكادي الله أرن وبرد ونحب كربة لك من دلالة نارد وقلب الله وهمة وكات يدلات زلن وماسك وخلف ثم كاسفي الله وقلة مجون قلة مرد ثم جثمين ونقصان الله ومن كبيهة دنيا ثم آخرة ومن فدوههما يالله يالله يمان لكل شيء قادر ولا جل بما بيستخار يالله إني سألتك قلبا خاشيا متواديا وعلما كثيرا نافيا الله إني سألتك قلبا خاشيا متواديا وعلما كثيرا نافيا الله إني سألتك قلبا خاشيا متواديا وعلما كثيرا نافيا الله وتوبة بلا ما نكتة رفيت مزاودة سالها بدين يالله وكن مغيظا لنا بشارة حسد مشار فارو وشار غين يالله وشار سر وشار خلق إنسيهم مجلنهم وتاوات سامي يالله إني جعلتك في دارين ياتكتي حسنا حسينا فمن كل مجايا الله فلا تكلكني إلى نفسي فعليك كن موجديني حيث معودك يا الله وجل لساني والقلب التاكري كما أن عند الممات مع الإيمان يا الله ثبت يقيني يا في قلبي بلا وجل هلت هتاء به يا الله حق يا الله واجعل الموت راحة ومفرحة من كل شر وكرب ذاك يا الله وفتل جسم حيث روح فاركني في الكبر وتبلن يا دار يا الله وكن نسير ينسيه ما دفنوا جسمي فسرت واحدا تام يا الله وتطمئن ما كتي يرعيني فلكفيا كل ما أخشاكه يا الله وناجني وجميع المسلمين أنا معا وناجي لي الدات أمين يا الله واغفر لنا واغفر لنا ولا هلا وافتح أسمائنا وتلفنا بها في الهول يا الله أسهل تجاوز وإيانا هما فما لها سكا وأنت البار يا الله ببرزك مقبر كلنا وزرع ومن كرب وخوف ناجي الله لا تكتبها بها ليست بكادرة ولا تخيب رجها فيك يا الله وأسقنا معها من ماء كوثر من إتاحته من جميل خلقه الله من كان يرشد ذا خير ويلك ذا كفر ويسور من يخشاك يا الله محمد ماتا الإخيار كائدنا لجنة الخلد مع حشري الله عليه صل وسلم دائما أبدا ومن كفور يوم الدين يا الله عليه صل وسلم دائما أبدا وما كفه ليوم الدين يا الله عليه صل وسلم دائما أبدا وما كفه ليوم الدين يا الله سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون وسلام 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 على المرسلين that's you and me الحمد لله رب العالمين Barkay Sering Tuba, 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 Barkay Jerry Sering Tuba. Amin, Amin, Amin. After the peace from Sindidi, man, I have to greet y'all all over again. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Peace, too much peace. No such thing as not
Uh,
peace. This one might be, I don't know. If we scroll back about 2 or 3 years, we'll bump into about a good 8-week course on a book by the beloved Bawa Muhaiyadeen, Salihu, who may Allah forever protect his secret. He wrote a book called The Song of Muhammad. We may teach that one again in the near future. I think it's about time. But other than the Quran, I had never read an Islamic book. Never read an Islamic book that spoke about the Prophet Muhammad in 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 such a way that Bawa Muhaiyadeen did in that book. It's a full story, a couple hundred pages or so, but he overlays the Zahir and the Batin, the visible and the invisible, or the manifest and the unmanifest, all in the same story. So it's almost like you're reading this beautiful poetic prose and story about the early life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but it's also written esoteric at the exact same time when I did it. The first page, the first page, about 2 or 3 lines from the bottom, had me crying. Yeah, Allah, yeah, we definitely gonna have to teach that book again because it's such an immense blessing. But for the ones in the WhatsApp groups, there was a PDF shared from that from way back, and that'll be kind of what we use to build on. Now, a show of hands, or a I, or a Sallallahu ala Muhammad. How many people have ever heard anybody mention more than one? There is Nabi Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran, right? But also in the description of the creation story, there's just a few more because existence is just a journey from 1 to 9, right? Cipher at the end. Peace to the gods. But to go back in time to this book, to take these couple hundred pages and then condense them down to a quintessential teaching of this process of growth into adulthood and prophethood of our beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but at the exact same time get to peek a little bit on the inside to see something you just might not hear on a Cooper on Friday in your standard mosque. But alhamdulillah for the light of Bawa Muhaiyadeen that came from the Lord Muhammad, that embodied as him, that came from Allah. Alhamdulillah. So with that, we'll start up at the top. It's said that Allah said to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the Hadith, "O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without you, without you, I would not have created anything, nothing. Now, I know that might seem like a lot. Allah says to the Prophet Muhammad in this hadith that we probably never heard any Imam say behind the old Muhammad, peace be upon you. Without you, I would not have created anything. How? To bring it from the above to the below where we exist at right here, it's referencing to the light of Muhammad, peace be upon him, that is inside of you, that resides within you. Because we work on this process of jihad al-nafs, uh, fighting against the lower self, purifying it and raising it up through the seven stations of the soul. There's a certain spot on that path where you realize where that purified light resides, and after the process of purification, and when it radiates out, how could you not say that that is a praiseworthy light? Right? Nur, Arabic word for light. Mu, meaning one who is the word that's about to follow it, right? Hamid, praiseworthy, the light of the praiseworthy. If that's been woken up, polished and purified, allowed to shine out and reflect and actualize, then brothers and sisters, it's none other than you. It doesn't matter how many times this energy comes back to manifest in the human body, it'll never show up like this again. This thing is special. And thing on the inside of it that we go through this process to work up from the bottom three stations of the soul, or the bottom three chakras, to get right here to the heart, is where Bawa Muhaiyadeen starts at with kind of how we'll study the text in a shortened version today. Keep the pen and paper handy, because every time there is one of these 9 Muhammads, there'll also be a salawat, or a prayer upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that you can insert this name in, and we'll culminate in the end with how you're able to work through it. This is still a favorite practice. Still a favorite practice. This was from 8/26/2018, which means these notes here are from my year 1 notebook from 8/6/2018. Alhamdulillah. We almost hit it on the mark. I'm sorry, 8/26/2018. So we're 9/8/2023. So we almost hit the anniversary of this one. But Bawa Muhaiyadeen said that there are 4 chambers of the heart. All right. Sounds familiar. And each of those are a bullet point. Each of those 4 are a bullet point according to Bawa Muhaiyadeen in this description. The first is the light of Allah, because in that hadith, Allah says to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, oh, well, without you, I would not have created anything. So if it wasn't for that which was already with Allah, you wouldn't have created anything. And that same light was pre-existent within Allah. And we exist as Muslims right here in this perfect space between the above and below. The spot where that light resides, that is cleansed and purified and allowed to reflect outward in action and upward to reach the 7th station of the soul, that same exists within us at that same beginning process. First chamber of the heart, according to Bawa Muhaiyadeen, is the light of Allah. The second chamber of the heart, according to Bawa Muhaiyadeen, is, of course, what Allah said in that particular hadith, oh Muhammad, peace be upon you, without you, I would not have created anything. So after this light of Allah, of course, comes the light of Muhammad at the second chamber of the heart. according to the Beloved Bawa Muhaiyadeen. Now, what could come after that? We're above, and we're working our way to the below to where we exist at. There's a chain, there's a silsila. If we embody that, like if we embody these names of Allah as we recite them in zikr, as we embody the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in righteous action, feeding the homeless, feeding people, giving charity, then the third chamber of the heart is the light of your own self. You, your own self. Now, in order for that self to be actualized, though, we insert Bamba teaching here from, oh goodness, was this from the Salawatul Jannah or another one of the couple thousand tons of with a ton of literary works? But he mentioned that books are sufficient enough for knowledge. However, a realized teacher, a master teacher, a sheikh is needed for the elevation of the soul through those progressive stations to the actualized self. So the first chamber of the heart is the light of Allah. Second chamber of the heart is the light of Muhammad. The third chamber of the heart is the light of your own self, which if it's been brought up to this point to where it can shine and radiate out and also continue to move up in successive stages, like Bamba said, the person that is there to allow us to gain access to the teachings on how to be able to do that, the practices on how to raise the person's vibration, like they say today, is the light of your sheikh. Cheikh Sufi Ba, Serigne Falu, Cheikh Ibrahim, Serigne Salihu, Serigne Tuba, Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, Adin Rasul. So to take those four chambers of the heart, the light of Allah, one, the light of Muhammad, two, the light of yourself, the self, the nafs, I'll use that word in Arabic, and the light of your sheikh, or four. Condense it all back to divine union, oneness, and tawheed. And the quintessential essence of that particular teaching is that the entirety of the Sufi path that we just kind of is the union of those four lights. The entirety of the Sufi path is the union of the light of Allah down to the light of Muhammad, to the light of your own self and the light of your sheikh, which turns right back around based on the teachings you get from that sheikh, will lead you right back to his sheikh, Serigne Salihu, which will lead you right back to his sheikh, Serigne Bamba, Khadim Rasul, who will lead you right back to where he got his knowledge and understanding from, that he was able to prepare and deliver to us. The Nur Muhammad, the light of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that came from Allah. Oh, do we have four lights from Sheikh Sufi to Serigne Salihu, Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, Prophet Muhammad, union of those four lights into one, Qul hu Allahu ahad, one, say Allah is one, Allahu samad, that one is eternal, lam yalid, was not birthed, and walam yulad, and was not begotten, walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad, and there is nothing equal to it at all. And if that light and that noise, that special, that far up beyond the human mind's ability to conceive it or perceive it, let's bring that down a couple of vibrations. The next time we go look in the mirror, send prayers of peace and blessings upon that self that you see in that mirror. Pretty sure that self is gonna smile back when it realizes that positivity came from it and it applied it back to itself and is now able to manifest it in action, just based on the unification of those four lights. So the prayer on the 9 Muhammads, do a smash up with the teachings and bullet points here. The first one is the Anathi Muhammad, which would be Anathi, Anathi Muhammad, which would mean, if we were to bring that to an English translation, the unmanifested Muhammad. Because just as it says in the Hadith, if O Muhammad, Allah say unto him, peace be upon it, without you, I would not have created anything. So the first Muhammad is before anything the human mind can conceive or conceptualize as before. It's so far back. There's no concept of time with Allah. So the only way we can calculate that is to apply the sun, moon, and stars and our perception of time while on this earth to that in the distance, and we won't be correct. You know, how many prior galaxies and universes were brought into existence and then existed for billions of years, and then were compressed back into a singularity and then spiraled back out into creation again, just like Allah says in the Quran. Plenty of things came before, right? Plenty of things that came before ceased to exist. And from those things that ceased to exist, there was another creation. Allah is able to continue these creations, but the very first step for that is this unmanifested Muhammad, the Anathi Muhammad. In the beginning, before the beginning, in profound silence, what would be cosmic silence, but since there's nothing, no thing in existence, profound silence, nothing, pause, not nothing as in the word nothing. I don't know who we at. Sheikh Ahmed, I love you for the sake of Allah and the sake of Allah alone. I mean, indeed, I think you were with us during that class. That can definitely be said to be spot on and correct when expounding those. It's the primal Muhammad. It's if in profound silence before nothing had been manifested. Right after this one point, first of the 9 Muhammads, the Anathi Muhammad, nothing had been manifested. And if it wasn't for this which was already with, that which was about to manifest, it's the closest as I believe that conceptually the human mind can get to the space before the calf in Kun. Imagine trying to perceive that. We know Allah said, if he decrees a thing to be, he says be and it is. Kun fire kun. But there was something there before that kun. The unmanifested Muhammad was there before the kun. even before the fire kun and everything else came into existence. All right. The primal Muhammad and the oneness of Allah existed in himself before the creation of the universe. Before reading that book, oh my goodness, Bawa Muhaiyadeen just explained the Prophet Muhammad in such a way that I used to have to keep a bottle of water close by. That's so doggone much. You might get dehydrated. You might want to go ahead and take a sip again. And we hear this in some of the Islamic teachings in the Quran and the Hadith also. So it's quoted, Allah was a hidden treasure. That's it. The Song of Muhammad book. We have the PDF, so we can share that inshallah, but we'll definitely teach that soon in the near future. But Allah was a hidden treasure and he longed to be known. So he created himself from himself to know himself, right? On the Egyptian temples, when you would walk in, if you could walk in, if you could get close to it to find the entrance, right up top. Ayyuhun nasu, ayrifu nafsa. Ayyuhun nasu, oh man, oh mankind. Ayrif nafsak, ayrif to know. Nafs, self, ak, to know. Ayrif nafsak. Oh man, know thyself. So at the furthest of our perception and conception, Allah did just that. So when we see people walking around here, or not even walking around, a stock fair lot, driving in the car with gloves on, the windows rolled up, a mask on, and 76 little tree air fresheners hanging from the window, stock fair lot. The zikr for each of these names is going to go Allahumma Salli Allah, insert one of the 9 Muhammads, Wasallam. So with this first one here, we have Allahumma Salli Allah Anathi Muhammad Wasallam, Anathi. It's unmanifested Muhammad. Working the zikr forward, working the creation story forward, working the story of the coming to being and then the being to the coming into prophethood of this Nur Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We get the Athi Muhammad, Athi, Athi Muhammad. It sounds kind of similar to that first one though, right? Anathi, and then the second is Ati. So if Anati is unmanifested, then this next one doesn't have un in front of it. So it's Ati Muhammad, the manifest Muhammad, peace be upon this particular cosmic creation that allowed everything else and countless creations and expansions and Lord knows how much it took to get to us to be here right now. Alhamdulillah for that. Allahumma salli ala anafi Muhammad wasallam. Allahumma salli ala afi Muhammad wasallam. Manifest Muhammad is the origin of everything. In Arabic, the afi would be, we'll have to take this from our Muhaiyadeen's Tamil script to an Arabic understanding, would be, I know we've all heard of this here term though, the word, the logos, also about the exact same as this coming into being of concept of Nur. So with this being the origin of everything, Bible says in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. If that ain't esoteric, if that's not Sufism right there in the Bible, I don't know what is. In the beginning was the word. the Anafi Muhammad, this unmanifested word. And then the word was God. Now we got time. It was, and now it is. So now we have the Ati Muhammad. In the beginning, the word was the word, and the word was God, this force that we can't describe. And now the word was with God. The word was manifest with the being and the force and the essence that allowed it to be manifest. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala ati Muhammad wa salam. Allah saw that face as Muhammad, one of praise, just like his own, because Allah was a hidden treasure and longed to be known. So he created himself from himself, with himself, so that he could then know himself. Alhamdulillah. So we bring it on down again, but right in the middle, you'll realize that we're actually working up. This is the Awwal Muhammad. AWWAL. Reminds me of a Tijani zikr that was given to me. Ya awalu, ya akhiru, ya zahiru, ya batinu, awalu. Beginning, akhiru, the ending, ya zahiru, ya batinu. Zahiru is manifest, batin is hidden. All of those are names of Allah in the zikr, though, in the Quran. So now we have this awalu, there's no U at the end, and we have Awal Muhammad, the beginning Muhammad. In the beginning was Awal means first, the merging of creation coming into existence as a being that was created. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala awal Muhammad wasallam. Oh Allah, send prayers and peace upon awal Muhammad, the beginning Muhammad, the merging of creation, the merging of something that my mind can't even put into human words. Allah, you did something on such a grand and vast scale that in this particular vibration, the sponge inside of this thing we all agree upon calling a skull can't even fully perceive it. Alhamdulillah. Just do like the Taoists and Taoists do and just agree to call it the Tao or the Tao. Wait, we did. Allah. Alhamdulillah. So from the Anafi Muhammad, the unmanifested Muhammad, to the Athi Muhammad, the manifest Muhammad now, to the Awal Muhammad, or the beginning Muhammad, the first Muhammad, the merging of creation, unification, and balance. Scales of Ma'at, insert comedic reference here. And then link comedic reference to Surah Al-Rahman when Allah tells us about all of the good that we're able to achieve and get to if we strive in his way. But inserts a little warning about tipping this thing called the Mizan. Allah has established the Samai, the firmament, higher realms of spiritual consciousness, and provided a balance therein. Allah says, do not transgress that balance. Right here at this third stage of cosmic creation with this Nur Muhammad that we're bringing down, but actually back up, like we said, right? This is unification and balance. Sounds like Islam to me right there. Islam is peace. Islam is balance. Islam is mental, physical, and spiritual balance in action and even inaction. Alhamdulillah. Before we get to the midway, does anyone have any questions about those first three stages of creation or those first three stages of this cosmic principle of the Nur Muhammad, or we need to bring it down a little bit to the birth of and the story? I do believe I may still have notes on that as well, inshallah. Así no vamos. Number one is Anati Muhammad, unmanifest. Ati Muhammad, manifest. Awal Muhammad, the beginning. Fourth is Hayat Muhammad. We drop that at off the end of that. Don't we get another name of Allah again, above and below? Huh? Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Salibi salam ala Habibika Muhammad ibn al-Habib Mahmud, the Hayat Muhammad. So Allah takes this unmanifested Nur Muhammad before and makes it manifest. And with that which he made manifest, now there's a time when there wasn't anything made manifest. So now there's time. Concept of what we get is time. And with that being set into motion by a being that transcends and pervades time, right here we have the Hayat Muhammad, the eternal Muhammad, Ya Hay. So now we went through 4, unmanifest, manifest, and then as soon as there's a beginning, just like it said, Allah sent himself with himself, from himself to himself, so that he should know himself. Now there's this self. Now there's this self, right? So right here in the middle, 1, 2, inshallah and astaghfirullah, we will take a quick pause. Sheikh Rahman, if you got that PDF, if you'll share the first 4 and the definitions in the chat. Cafe Tuba is on the coffee pot, and it has been for the last 49 minutes. Astaghfirullah. Allow the brother to go fill up this coffee pot for Cafe Tuba to continue on, because I'm telling you, the last of these 9 Muhammads made me cry. Sorry, y'all. I don't mean to be the crying sheikh, but these teachings are so beautiful. These teachings are so beautiful, and before Islam, the mind couldn't perceive anything as beautiful as such.
Look at your coffee, Sheikh.
A quick word from my sponsors, Jeff Beloved.
So one thing that I hope that the Beloved Sheikh will talk on, perhaps when he gets back. But according to the Holy Abjad, and if folks aren't familiar with the Abjad, that is that each letter in the Arabic alphabet is assigned a numerical value. It's the equivalent of gematria in the Holy Kabbalah that our esoteric Jewish brothers and sisters practice. I notice that we have 9 Muhammads, right? And 9 is a very special number. It's the largest single-digit number before we go into double digits. For anybody who is familiar with the supreme mathematics, right? We know we have 1 through 9, followed by cipher, completion. So I say that just to put before you that if we look at the abjad of 9, there is a variety of different words that can emerge. One of which I want to mention to you is the word or the name Adam. Now, this is a very special word. Adam is regarded as the first prophet. We know that he was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the angels were asked to prostrate and bow towards him. And we know that this is the story in which Iblis, in his arrogance and pride, refused to do so. So Adam is not only the first holy prophet, but Adam is also synonymous with Nas, with mankind, humanity. So what the Sheikh was talking about previously, when we look upon ourselves in the mirror and smile, we're seeing Allah smiling back at us. We're seeing the essence manifest in the self-reflection. So when we see the number 9 here, and we know it represents Adam, then we know that there is a strong correspondence between the number 9, again, the highest number in single digits, and the 9 aspects of Muhammad. So now that we have the Sheikh back with us, I will let him resume his regularly scheduled programming. Thank you, Sheikh.
Ooh, Sheikh Rahman. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that one. I love that one. Had me smiling from here to the kitchen and back. I should have just love it because indeed there are some numbers at the end of that PDF, but with this 1 through 9, it shows up again, and we can put this Aleph Dal Meme or ADM right beside a meme meme Dal or MHMD, right? Which also has the number 9 in it again, right? So if the same way our beloved Shaykh wrote that down with the ADM coming up to 9, if we add MHMD, because in Arabic sometimes you get a vowel from a with MHMD you get 92. Alhamdulillah. So even from the 9 Muhammads, embodying those and then putting those beside the ADM from the Prophet Adam being the first, and then even with spelling the name of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you get 92. Peace to the gods on earth, man, because Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is truly Islam. Otherwise, I don't know, we wouldn't be here. We we wouldn't be here. Yeah, hi. Now, ooh, Sheikh Rahman. I still have text messages from this particular chat when we spoke on the Anna Muhammad years ago. Do you remember? This was a favorite. This was a favorite, and it was the first time this one hit was during this Bawa Muhaiyadeen class, learning these 9 manifestations of this Nur Muhammad, and this Anna Muhammad. It hit at such an opportune time. It was so on point that here we go again. Islam is definitely mathematics, and vice versa. Anna Muhammad in the Song of Muhammad, he'll break down and say it's the nourishment Muhammad. It's that which is and allows this which is to continue to be. But who is that? If in Arabic, Anna, ANNA, means I am. So we'll pause here real quick. I know it might not be time. I won't finish it. We'll Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Pause and insert sentence. All right. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu, I bear witness, and that this next word, La ilaha illallah. There is no existence but this divine reality. There's no God but Allah. Second part of that, beloved, is something that it hit me in the mosque while standing in front of the microphone, calling the Adhan. When I said, Ashadu Anna Muhammad Rasulullah, and remembered the teaching from this book, and Bawa Muhaiyadeen breaking down that word from his Tamil language in southern India and Sri Lanka, connecting it to Arabic and then bringing it to English in such a poetic form, and all of that coming together in the forefront. And it said, I am. I started to cry while reciting the Adhan. Ashadu Anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Wait a minute. I am one who is, as possesses praiseworthy character traits of some sort. Because when we were sitting in there, it's about 5 or 6 people in the mosque right before prayer time. Muslims are punctual and on point. So out of those 5, we're there minutes before, and we're zikkering, looking at the clock. And this is how beautiful Islam is. This is all it takes inside of the mosque. You can be sitting there, and we're seconds before it's time for the Adhan to be called. All it takes is for someone to look at you and do this. That means go call the Adhan. So how at that point did the brothers know that I was confident enough to speak Arabic in front of a mosque full of other Muslims? How did they also know that at that same point in time, it didn't? Allah sent that message down that we were going through this class, this text, and that just got to Bawa Muhaiyadeen saying that Anna means I am. Muhammad is the nourishment. It's this force on the inside of me that pumps itself through this thing I call a body and allows it to continue to exist until my appointed term is up from Allah. That is beautiful. When I was first taught the Adhan in Arabic, and someone said to say Ashadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashadu an Muhammad Rasulullah, I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. I get it. Quranically, Islamically, but Bawa Muhaiyadeen is busting this open from he's splitting atoms with Muhammad. Alhamdulillah. So after realizing and not saying Ashadu an Muhammad Rasulullah, I vocalized for the first time, calling the Adhan Ashadu Anna Muhammad Rasulullah, and the tears started to cry, sniffling through the rest of the Adhan. It almost reminded me of a church occurrence. You know how when someone catches the Holy Ghost in the church and people start, oh, amen, oh, praise God, hallelujah, oh, pray. The same thing was going on behind me in the mosque, except it was in Arabic. Allah, mashallah, wa tabarakallah, alhamdulillah, but they have no idea. They have no idea why I was crying in front of the microphone while reciting the Adhan from this little beloved, soft-spoken brother from southern India that expounded on the Prophet Muhammad in such a way that it made this poor little black guy from little old Macon, Georgia, have a whole mystical experience inside of an Orthodox mosque and realize I couldn't tell anybody in there what just happened. Not at all. Allahumma salli ala Hayat Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Anna Muhammad. This I am. When you realize this I am and actualize this I am, it provides a sort of spiritual nourishment. I hope and pray that Allah gives me enough breath to wake up tomorrow and try to make this thing shine brighter. If I don't, alhamdulillah. If I do, alhamdulillah in all caps. There's no capital letters in Arabic. And that gives life to earth, fire, water, air, and ether, which consists of this thing that we all agree upon to call a human body. Sheikh Rahman.
Sheikh, I remember very clearly having this conversation with you. In fact, I remember exactly, not only through text message, but I remember talking to you on the phone on this, and I remember exactly where I was when doing it. It was a very powerful moment, and I feel like the energy was just palpable with this realization. And as you're bringing this up, you know, I can't help because you're right. Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. So one of the names of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi wasallam is Taha, right? So we get Surah Taha, right, 2014 in the Quran. It says, "Indeed, I am Allah. There is no deity except me. So worship me and establish prayer for my remembrance." And I can't help but to point out that correspondence between the lesson, the teaching you're sharing, and the proof in the Holy Quran Sharif.
That was the clear proof and the clear truth, indeed, which may or may not also be another secret name of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Al-Haqqul Mubin. Anyway, back to Brother Bawa Muhaiyadeen after this short commercial break of esotericism. This Anna Muhammad. I gotta read that book again. After this, we have Ahmed. A little different, right? You go Anati Muhammad, Athi Muhammad, Awal Muhammad, Ayat Muhammad, Anna Muhammad, Ahmed. Because where else could that be inside of this being that just realized that it is Ahmed is the heart described in this particular teaching and text. Ahmed was Muhammad's name, peace be upon him, when he was in heaven before he came to earth. He was going to be named Ahmed, but in the last second in this text, the angel Jibril came to him and said, name him Muhammad. Muhammad was the first person in history, period, to be named Muhammad, one who is praised or praiseworthy. Ahmed meaning praise, praised, depending on what word appears before it in Arabic. But with that now being the heart, where is also that. So when someone asks you who you are, you say, me? Why we point right here? Ahmed. Allahumma salli ala Ahmed wa sallam. Oh Allah, send prayers and peace upon Ahmed, the heart, this essence of Muhammad that was in existence in heaven before it came to earth. Connection to Adam and Muhammad again, right? You know, when they say when Adam was cast out on this fall down, Lord knows how long he's falling, right? But as he's falling down past the throne of Allah, he sees inscriptions on the throne of Allah as he's falling down to earth, the fall of man. When Adam is falling down and he reads what is on the throne of Allah written as he falls, he realizes and he realizes because of what he saw. And he cries out to Allah because he said something in his mind when he was falling down. Ya Allah, please bless me by the name of the Prophet Muhammad. I've surely wronged myself. While he's falling down, he realizes that he did something incorrect and wrong because he's falling from grace. All of man, he's falling from grace. And as he's falling from grace, what does he see on the throne of Allah? Ashadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah said, Adam, hold on. How do you know this name, Muhammad? And I haven't even sent him to earth yet. How do you know his name, Muhammad, and I haven't sent him to earth yet? Adam's still falling. I saw his name inscribed on your throne, and it was so close to your name that I knew he had to be important. I knew he had to be your beloved. I knew he had to have something that nobody else in existence has. So please send a little blessing to be by the blessings that are in that name. I don't see nobody else's name that close to yours. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Allahumma salli ala Ahmed wa sallam Ahmed. That heart named this Ahmed, this praiseworthy something. Name it Muhammad. Name it one who is praiseworthy. So we're going to do a little Arabic to English translation. You want to know how many different ways you can say that? You can say it by saying Serigne Falu Ba, Big Aknubamba International Sufi School, a whole Sufi school full of Muhammad. Aisha Sidquino Wakazulu Ba, Muhammad. Brother Noon, Muhammad. Sheikh Saleh, Muhammad. Sheikh Sufi popped in at the perfect time, and Muhammad. Brother Curtis Bratton Bay, Muhammad. Habibi Nile Salihin Fall, Muhammad, Hadi Asek, Muhammad, Sheikh Idris Ba, the Mound Builder, Muhammad, Nafi Sadir, Muhammad, Sheikh Raheem Ba, Muhammad, Sister Saffron, Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad. There's nothing but Muhammad in here. There's nothing but Muhammad in here. If Muhammad came from Allah, then there's nothing but Allah in here. Alhamdulillah for this teaching. There's a Sufi Sheikh that mentions that I spent 40 years talking to Allah, but the disciples thought that I was talking to them. We ain't gonna give you no discounts. Don't discount. Don't credit self. Realize and actualize self through this process. So now, past this Ahmed, if there's this Ahmed, now you get Muhammad. Now you become one worthy of praise and thanks by embodying these essences that appear as the 99 names of Allah, embodying those same essences as they appear in the names of Muhammad, peace be upon him, as best as we can, as much as we can, and as often as we can in our thoughts, words, and actions. A master is a master of the basics. Master is a master of thoughts, words, and actions. The beauty of Allah's essence and light that shines upon your face coming from your heart makes this being that you see, this essence shining from the face of and also being from the heart of Muhammad. So from an ati, unmanifested, ati, manifest, awal, the beginning, hayat, the eternal Muhammad, anna, the I am, we realize it and where it is, the Ahmed, the heart. Where is that? It's in here. This is me. I am one who has just realized, actualized, and embodied Muhammad. And now, as this goes on up from the fourth chakra, from the fourth station of the soul, and goes on up through the throat chakra, hopefully after bearing witness and testifying and pronouncing with this and saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, and going on up to here, the Nur Muhammad, actualized as this wisdom right here in the third eye, the plenitude, the abundance of light manifest as this seemingly small fractal, but it does something bigger than any of us can describe. The light which became complete within Allah and emerged from Allah into creation down to us right here today. There was a point in time when we were not in this existence, and then we were created in this existence, and here we are as of today, emerged from Allah, as Allah, on the path called Sufism to get closer to and to know Allah. Because Quran says, Allah says, know me before you worship me. That knowledge exists up here in the Lord Muhammad. Pressed upon the forehead, the third eye of Adam, Muhammad, Adam. This is the aspect of divine wisdom. But from here, this is on the inside. There has to be, there's one more above it. We went through 8 Muhammads. There's one more. Where and how? I mean, shoot, what's we came down, we realized it, where it was, where this it was inside this thing that I say I am. I've actualized it and embodied it and became this thing and realized that the essence of it exists as this nur up here. Then where could that have came from but Allah? Oh, Muhammad, peace be upon you. Without you, I would not have created anything, which was referencing the Nur Muhammad or that light that exists within you. So now this 9th one is Allah Muhammad, the unity of Allah and Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is a vessel within which Allah resides and from which he speaks. This vessel does praiseworthy actions. This vessel can be used to take food to someone who does not have it. This vessel can be used to study Islam and then teach it to someone. Allah loves those who learn Islam and then teach Islam to others. Allah resides in and speaks from the person from wherein it is realized and actualized, connected to, and not tied on that rope so tight that you never let go. Never let go. Pray to Allah, don't allow me to go back to that which you saved me from, non-existence. Don't allow me to go back into not knowing. Don't allow me to go back into not realizing and actualizing these traits that exist within me and bringing them forward so that just in case that would have been the last breath. Everything that happened up until that embodied every single one of those 9. And hopefully with that last breath, instant ticket to Jannah by embodying those 9 Muhammads. What time do we have here? 8:11. Boom. There are 9 Muhammads from Sheikh Bilal. So no, I have to say, haha. The 9 points of attaining Jannah, heaven, in this world and the next from Sheikh Ahmed. Muhaiyadeen just give a full-blown explanation on these 9 Muhammads from the cosmic all the way down to us, to in us, to realize us, to actualize us, and then connect it to the source where all of that happens. And what do they say in the Nation of Islam? Make it plain, minister. But also teach hard. Right? Ragal Yalla and Wolof have taqwa of Allah. Always be conscious of Allah. Ragal Kuraga Yalla. Be respectful of people you know that have taqwa. Be respectful of other people that you know that are conscious of Allah. Ragal Kul Ragal Yalla. Be respectful even of the people that you know that who do not have taqwa, the people who are unconscious of Allah. Be respectful to them. By lubun. Stop doing bad things. By kubun. Leave all bad people. By fubun. Leave all bad places. And these here, the last three, definitely keep right here in the heart. Keep all 9 in the heart, but these, lo como buka wok, do not say what you do not know. Prophet Muhammad didn't speak of his own accord. He spoke what Allah sent to Gabriel to him in this area where this Northern Muhammad existed at, to where he could, come on, y'all. Lo munal book of death. Do not say what you know is incorrect. So and so said that. So and so said that. So and so said that. Sheikh Ahmed. No, 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 no. Sheikh Ahmed Mama said, and he only said because of what he got from the Quran and the Sunnah. So he didn't say what he didn't know because he fully embodied that Quran and that Sunnah. He didn't say what he knew was incorrect because he spoke Quran and Sunnah. And the night, give you a little few, give you some muscles. Lo so yon nekul man ul chi. Don't say that you can't do anything. Don't say that you can't do anything. We'll repost those 9 so that we can put 9 Muhammads from a lecture Sheikh Sufi taught in 2018 from a book by Bawa Muhaiyadeen and put them directly beside 9 points of attaining heaven in this world and the next from Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba Kadim Rasul. Now, Sheikh Rahman, if possible, to chat if you can copy that from the WhatsApp to the group here, inshallah, just in case anybody is in here that might not be in the WhatsApp groups. That's broken down from Wolof to an English explanation from Quran, and then I guess a Western term definition explanation. Ragal Yalla, have taqwa, have consciousness of Allah. Always know that essence that allowed you to exist as this, exists in this, as this. Ragal Ragal Yalla, be conscious of other people who you know who are going through this process of becoming. Sufism is a process of becoming. Be respectful of the other people you know that are going through that process of becoming, because there's tests and trials along the way. Tests and trials along the way. Also, Rago Kuluraga Yalla, be respectful of those that you know that don't have taqwa, people who are unconscious of Allah, that just don't know. I lubum, stop doing bad things. Don't go into that store and start eyeing that 12 pack in that cooler, astaghfirullah. Don't stop by that gas station and listen to that guy say, "Hey man, I got that loud." Then don't listen to him. Astaghfirullah. If that light was just green and it just turned yellow and you think you can get through it, don't. You don't know who's about to come up the other way if that were to happen. So when that thing says slow down, that's your sign. Allah speaks in signs and symbols for those that got the eye in the ear. Slow down. Don't do bad things. Buy kubun. We now leave all bad people. Have a few friends, a lot of acquaintances. I know of a lot of people. Know a lot of people, right? Out of those bunches of people, there's really only a few that have ever even been inside of this house. There's only a few that start for a lot. There's only a few that I would even allow to come on the inside because there's a certain way somebody will have to be before they come in here. There's two pictures of Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. There's Sheikh Ibrahim. There's Serigne Salihu. Serigne Falu. There's Serigne Abdul Ahad. There's just 99 names of Allah. There's Arabic calligraphy in here. There's a bookshelf with conscious Islamic wisdom. So, astaghfirullah. Some of my homeboys I was drinking with 15 years ago just can't come in here today. Especially if they're still doing that. Leave all bad people. And buy Fubun, we leave all bad places. Now on the south side where all that stuff was going on at, they don't go there no more. 15 years ago, me might have been over there, but today me is right here with some cafe tuba in this nice little thermos that keeps it nice and hot. Alhamdulillah. Lo kumol bukawok. Do not say what we do not know. So to condense that with these teachings, we now realize this Allah Muhammad connection. Don't say what we don't know. Because in Quran, Prophet Muhammad didn't say what he did not know. He didn't speak of his own accord. Do not do what we know is incorrect. There's nowhere in the Quran where, I can't even finish the sentence, but you see where I was about to go at. There's nowhere in the Quran where Nabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did anything that went against the teachings in the book that were revealed to him from Allah through the angel Gabriel. Lo so yon nepal man ulji, and do not say that you cannot do anything. Don't. Because this time on the 20th, not last month before last, I felt in such a way that I couldn't get up and walk without a back brace after that accident. Also couldn't get up, walk without the old trusty Senegalese walking stick, which just hit the ground. So these footsteps are slow, right? But I can get up and I can move without the walking stick. I have to be conscious of Allah. I have to have taqwa. I have to trust Allah and tie my camel. I'm not going to go run to the refrigerator. I'm going to walk to it. And I'm not going to say that I can't walk faster next week. I'm not going to say that I can't go an entire day without a back brace. Because right now I don't have it on. If I were to work a little bit too hard or strenuous or move a little bit too much too quick and do something I know I'm not supposed to do, I would stress these two herniated discs in my lower back up to where it might start to hurt a little bit. I don't want that to cause me to go. As soon as I go, I'm not zikkering. I'm not keeping my remembrance. I interrupt with it. So don't do do not say what you do not know. Do not do what you know is incorrect. And don't say that you can't do anything. And this is not how we made the marriage. 9 Muhammads from Bawa Muhaiyadeen. 9 points of attaining Jannah, heaven, in this life and the next, by Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. By realizing with both of those teaching that there is to be a proper unification of self-embodied principles of Prophet Muhammad by example and teachings, embodying the names of Allah, verily by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are brought to peace. Islam, Islam. We'll open up the floor for questions, inshallah. If we need to go back to bullet point any of the 9 Muhammads, if we need to go back to any of those 9 points of attaining Jannah in this world and the next, inshallah, the doors of the mosque are open. Sheikh.
Sheikh, there is just so much wisdom in the teachings that you shared with us today, and you mentioned lots of things. It's hard to summarize what you've been sharing, but an image came together for me, and I felt esoterically like you were painting this image for me. I need to put it out there. So hear me out. The skull, you were talking about the skull earlier, that the head, right? You talk about chakras and locations. That is the cave of Hira. Okay. And we get the nur, the message from Jibril, which reflects in our aql, our intellect, which is the aql ikul, is the divine intellect, which is often associated with the Prophet Muhammad alayhi wasallam. So as in the skull, in the cave, the message is delivered from Allah by Jibril to the aql, it becomes illuminated. It becomes that Muhammadan reality manifest. When we start speaking, we are reciting in verbal form that which was given to us in non-verbal form. That becomes a Quran. And to tie this into what Sheikh Sufi was teaching us a little bit ago on the idea of manifesting good thoughts, James Allen teaching, our Quran could be either good or bad, but nonetheless, our word is bond. Whatever word we put out there is sealed. Say it and it shall be. So what is our Quran? What is our recitation? What thoughts, what energy, what vibrations, what messages are coming to our intellect? What are we doing with it? And what are we speaking? Are we speaking truly? Are we feeling truly? It's a lot of stuff, but what you were talking about in tandem with some of the teachings that the Sheikh has been imparting on us recently, this just all kind of came into an image in my mind because of the teachings you were sharing today. So I just I wanted to put it out there in the ether. Ameen. Praise Allah.
Goodness. We usually have a title for some of the classes and talks and lectures, which honestly, I had one. I could screenshot the text to Sheikh Sufi and Brother Mustafa and get your hand out of my pocket. How did he just condense what I was going to do? I said, the 9 Muhammads and the importance of Salatul Nabi. This is why, in a nutshell, why it is so important to send prayers on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It doesn't matter what level you understand Prophet Muhammad, Nur Muhammad, Nabi Rasulullah, Al Mukhtar. Sin Salawat. Sin Salawat. Sin Salawat. Tasliman. They say Sin Salawat Tasliman. Ayyuhalladhina amanu salu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman, in abundance. Allah don't even give you a number. He just said do it and don't stop. But now realizing that all of those principles from pre-creation into the thought of creation, into creation, the beginning of time, and when things wasn't and were, all the way down to where we are, that same essence lies within here. Yeah, pray for yourself and pray for others. Salatul Nabi, esoteric and esoteric. Pray for yourself and pray for others, and there you have made your prayer on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When we get prescribed these practices and these zikrs, the Salatul Nabi, with this one, with the PDF that's shared, there's some numbers on the bottom for numerological specifications for what we call a weird or a daily practice. No, Sheikh gives a lot, so just keep these teachings, you guys. Keep these teachings. Like he said, you never know. One day, Cash App and Venmo and Chime just went down. So as soon as if the internet shuts down, if you have all these teachings printed out, you don't have to worry about getting online looking for a prayer from Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. You'll have it. You'll have went back as far as you can in the teachings to get them and bring them forward, so that we'll have them, so that we can use them, and still have those weirds to practice then. So out of these 9 Muhammads, as it was said, Allahumma salli Allah, insert name of Muhammad wasallam. Let's do.
Assalamu alaikum.
I mean, wa alaikum salam, Sheikh Salihu.
Did I miss it when I stepped out a minute, or you just holding back a couple? I didn't hear you say Allahumma salli Allah, Allah Muhammad wasallam. And I'm not even gonna say the last sacred name.
Nah. Oh yeah.
Or did I miss you? Because is it after Allahumma salli Allah, Allahumma salli Allah Muhammad wasallam? Isn't it Allahumma salli Allah, Allah Muhammad wasallam?
Yes, indeed, beloved.
It is a sacred name. We just not going to say.
Oh no. The PDF of that one is in the groups for those that have the bayat.
You know what you said, the PDF. That's why I say I'm not going to say. You said the PDF.
Yes, sir. No.
Yeah, Sheikh. I just wanted to just give a comment. I understand what our beloved Cheikh Sufi Ba would. Man, you broke it down eloquently. People, I don't know if you went. Hey, my hair stood up on my hand because I ain't gonna say necessarily forgot some up, but most Fridays I do the inshallah, I do the prayers of the 9 Muhammad. So that's why I was like, this brother that broke down. And a couple of them that I forgot, they don't have the PDF right on hand, exactly what they meant. You brought them back. I just want to give thanks. Shukran Allah. Like the Sheikh said, he thought it was, he said, I was looking at Sheikh email follow, and I thought it was me. I say, boom. Not saying you got your own style, but just to say, I don't think people know what they got. Hope they go back and study the class and come back and ask questions, because everybody don't know. Oh man, I'm just lost for words. I would say Shukran Allah, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wow, beautiful brother. Wa alaikum salam. Wow.
Give thanks. I was just saying, give thanks to all the family, Sheikh Rock mine too, for when you took the brief coffee break.
Yes, because that was perfect.
We
didn't plan that. That just happened.
That was a beautiful break while you went to get the coffee. Give thanks, Sheikh Rahman. Darrah Jeff to all of y'all. Darrah Jeff for the teachings tonight. Give thanks.
Darrah Jeff, beloved. That is it. That's the quintessential essence of the path. That we can say the duty of a sheikh is to implant his mind in the mind of the disciple. But now you think about that. Now I'm a disciple when I'm studying under a sheikh. At one point in time, he was a disciple studying up under a sheikh. At one point in time, this sheikh was a disciple studying up under another sheikh, who was Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, who embodied the Quran and the Sunnah. So it's right here, and it's right here within me, and it's right here and right here within every single one of y'all in the video right now. Even the ones that'll watch it on YouTube when it gets posted up, it's within everybody. And what we can say about those names, Allahumma salli ala anati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala ati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala awal Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala hayat Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala anna Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Ahmed wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Nur Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Allah Muhammad wa sallam. The repetition practice for that will be to start off reciting, let's say with the first one, Allahumma salli ala anati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala anati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala anati Muhammad wa sallam. You will recite that 66 times. And with the breakdown on the abjad and the Arabic earlier, the name Allah, if we would break that down, would equal up to 66. So we're reciting a salawat prayer upon the Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Peace be upon her. Peace be upon y'all. Peace be upon everyone. 66 times to line up with the numerical equivalent of the name of Allah to tap into that particular vibration. Bring that down. Put it right here in EO's storehouse, right? You can recite those 92 times, right? Allahumma salli ala ati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala ati Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala ati Muhammad wa sallam. 92 times, like a little bit earlier, where Adam equals 9, Muhammad, peace be upon him, equals 92. So we send prayers upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, using these 9 manifestations of Muhammad, peace be upon them, in accordance with the number, the numerical equivalent of the name Muhammad, peace be upon him. So if we, embodying these principles of Prophet Muhammad through these 9 manifestations, peace be upon him, as them, through them, to you and us, and we recite them 99 times right here, wound up with that unification of Allah, Muhammad, the Nur Muhammad within, realizing where it came from and its connection, and then bringing that forth down into a heightened and a brightened light, shining brighter from the heart, reflecting more and more from the face and forehead, so that, like I said, when we go out into the world, make sure that you are wearing the cloak of Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. Make sure that you are wearing the buba of Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. Not in a literal sense, because I'd be on the plane to Senegal right now just to touch a piece of something that he owned. pen he wrote with or a piece of paper he wrote on. Make sure that we embody the teachings that Ahmed Bamba brings to us, because those have Allah and his Quran, Allah being 66, and they have the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, Muhammad being 92, all within the teachings of Sheikh Ahmed Bamba. I don't care if a Sufi order comes out tomorrow and says, you come take bayat, we'll give you your house's weight in gold. I'm not going nowhere. Jitter Serigne Bamba. Got a little too lit with Sindidi a little earlier, but inshallah, we'll close with a quick zikr. If our hearts are Bilal, Cheikh Sally.
Cheikh Bilal, could I have one Sufi joke before I go? I belong to 2 other Sufi orders. But guess what?
Let's see.
I was with Sheikh Sufi when it came still through Sheikh Sufi. So it's only
Let's see how it works, man. And that's
we was so he gave me to Janny and who was with Eniac Khan when we came together in Richmond one time. But so basically it was still same way. It was only on the approval of Sheikh Sufi Ba in his presence.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still the same thing.
Sheikh.
Little joke before we go close out. So
it's true though. It's from Sheikh Sufi to a realized Sheikh who got these teachings from a Sheikh from that got these teachings from how they embodied the Quran and the Sunnah. I love it. Alhamdulillah. This has been a beautiful one. Thank you guys for coming and sharing the nur and the light, the reflections itself. Alhamdulillah. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Allahu Akbar. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. 100 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, followed by 100 Sallallahu ala Muhammad. And remember the non-Muhammad. So next time you get into the mode of sending salat on the Prophet, Allahumma salli ala Anathi Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Anathi Muhammad wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Nur Muhammad, sallallahu ala Ahmed, sallallahu ala Anna Muhammad. Get that Nur, get it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 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 Send prayers upon the Prophet Muhammad. Sallallahu ala 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 Muhammad, 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 sallallahu ala Muhammad. For those that stuck around, we'll close with Darud Taj. Darud Taj is a salawat, Darud, or a prayer upon the Prophet Muhammad. And it's categorized as one that has blessings of purification, blessings of provision, blessings of protection, and seeing the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's often called the prayer of the crown because it's commonly translated as, but as we close, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد صاحب التاج والمعراج والبراق والأعلام دافع البلاء والوباء والخاف والمرض وعلام اسمه مكتوب مرفوع مشفوع منقوش في اللول والقلم سيد الأرض والعجم جسمه مقدس مؤثر مطهر منور بالبيت والخراعي شمس الدوحة بدر الدوجة صدر الغولة نور الهدى خافي الورى مصباح الظلام جامع الشيعان شافع الأمم صاحب الجود والكرم والله عصيمه وجبريل كديمه والبراق مرحبه والمراج سفاره. We just had Safar, 18 Safar. وسدرة المنتهى مقامه وقب قوسين مطلبوه والمطلب مصدوقه والمصدوق وموجوده سيد المرسلين خاتم النبيين شرف المذنبين آسن الغاربين رحمة للعالمين راحة العاشقين مراد المتشقين شمس العارفين سراج السالكين as our way مصباح المقربين موهب الفقراء والغرباء والماسكين سيد فخالي نبي الحرمين إمام القبلتين وسيلة في الدارين صاحب قاب قوسين محبوب رب المشرقين ومغربين جدي الحسن والحسين جدي الحسن وحسين مولانا ومولى الخين أبي القاسم محمد بن عبد الله نور من نور نور من نور الله يا أيها المستخون بالنور جميله صلوا عليه وآله وصحبه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. One have any of this knowledge if it wasn't for Sarah and Tuba, what he embodied from the Quran and the Sunnah from the Prophet Muhammad, from his connection to Jibreel, from Prophet Muhammad, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Juma Mubarak, Juma Kareem. May the blessings from this Juma shine forth from us, for us, until the next Juma, until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum, my beloveds. Love each and every one of you for the sake of Allah. For the sake of Allah.
Wa alaikum salam,
Sheikh.
Salam, Sheikh. Love and life, man.
Welcome, salam, Sheikh. Peace and love.
Wa alaikum salam.
Excellent.